guys, it's Brant, and I'm back with our first 80's The Panel Has Spoken video. And wanted to try to start doing these to have a video, an alternate video that could come out on Fridays. So we're doing Appetite for Destruction. So for this particular one, I just put a vote out there on my social media and I let you guys pick it. Because I figure if I let you guys pick, you're going to be more invested in voting and you're going to be more invested in watching. So we had 41 on this panel, which is not bad for a kind of a start to a series. And I was hoping that we'd see a little more, but 41. Hey, if it was just me, Rick, and Matthew, we would be the panel and we would be the ones to speak. And so you have with me my trusty partner in crime, Rick, and my boy, the Matthew Smith from MD Smith Comics. And we're going to talk about Appetite for Destruction. I remember when I saw this video on MTV. I was watching MTV late one night, and this video came on. My TV pretty much stayed on MTV when they actually played music videos back then. And the videos at night had a tendency to get more heavier and a little more darker. And so I remember this video came on and I was blown away. I was like, who is this? Who are these guys? And so the next day I went down to the record bar at Eastridge Mall and saw my friend Sejona, and she's like, that's Guns N' Roses. Because I said it's something about being in the jungle and Chinese, and she's like, yeah, that's Guns N' Roses. So she gave me the album. I remember looking at the cover. Now I don't physically own this album right now. You guys do. I only have it streaming. I don't physically own it. So one of you has the album, one of you has the vinyl, and I'll let y'all show that when y'all are talking. But I remember I bought it on cassette, and I wore that cassette out. I think that's the only cassette I listened to for like a month straight because I felt absolutely in love with this album. I fell in love with this band. They were not like anything I'd ever seen before. They just had such attitude and they were dangerous. You knew they were dangerous. And during this time, they were dangerous. They were volatile. They were self-destructive. They were everything that you wanted to be. If you wanted to be in a band, you wanted to be... When I was a kid, I wanted to be in Kiss. When I was 18 years old, I wanted to be fucking Steven Adler. I wanted to play for Guns N' Roses. And I learned to play this album from front to back. So I absolutely love and adore Appetite for Destruction. I'll go ahead and say before I pass it off to Rick, I don't not like any song on this album, but I had to rank them. And it was very difficult. But yeah, so that's Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction for me. What about for you, Rick?
I remember my friend Danny had this tape in 87. I would have been in middle school. So I had knowledge of Guns N' Roses, but no one really at my school did. And then by the time I was a freshman, they were everywhere. And everyone knew about them. I saw Guns N' Roses with Metallica at Arrowhead for that body count Guns N' Roses Metallica thing. It was right after the Canadian incident. James was burnt. His arm was burnt. So there was a lot of hesitation of, aren't things going to go haywire at this show? I live in Kansas City, so we're very close to St. Louis. So the legend of the St. Louis incident was huge. My brother-in-law his family are policemen in St. Louis. My brother-in-law actually has a shirt that his dad got that says, I responded to the Axl Rose incident. So, I mean, like all of this legendary stuff was so big in Kansas City. My wife's favorite band, Guns N' Roses. Her two favorite, she likes 90s hip hop, but her favorite rock band is GNR. So we go see them every time they come around. Like you said, this album is all number ones for me. Every track is good. So ranking them means nothing really.
Yeah.
It was just trying to decide,
1.1
yeah.
through
Yep.
1.12.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Well, my experience with this album, dates back to '87. I was 8 years old, and my mom got tickets for me, my three older siblings to go see Motley Crue in concert in Atlanta, and Guns N' Roses opened up for them. And yeah, I was 8. My older siblings were teenagers, and they wanted to go. And my mom was like, "Well, I feel better about you guys going and me taking you," you know. So she went. She took us all. And I don't know if they already knew about Guns N' Roses or not. I know I didn't, but when we saw them, it was the 5 of them crammed on a tiny part of the stage because Motley Crue's set was covered up. We were like, man, who are these guys? And they, like I said, blew us away. And I know back then my sister was working for Camelot Music, and she ended up getting the album, and my brother ended up getting the album, and I ended up making a copy of it by playing the album on a record player and setting my boom box up next to the speakers and pressing play and record. And, that's how I got a lot of my music back in the day, borrowing their albums and recording over on blank cassettes. But side note to that, I did record over a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs book on tape to record Poison on that one. So, but yeah, so I only had that dub cassette for years until I ended up buying this at a used CD store in the 90s. I bought this and Lies for $5 each at a used CD store. But yeah, so I was a huge fan as a kid back in the day, and I feel like honestly this album and Def Leppard's Hysteria are the two albums that kind of like allowed other kids when I was in elementary school to hear the type of music I liked, because they weren't really listening to that kind of stuff. When I was younger, they liked, Ice, MC Hammer, New Kids on the Block, whatever. But then these came out, and then all of a sudden, I had friends who were like, "Oh, you like Guns N' Roses? Yeah, they're great,"
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, same thing with ranking the album. Appetite for Destruction is basically like the equivalent of some band's greatest hits albums. It's every song on there is hit after hit. It's fully loaded. And yeah, you're right. It's like 1.1 through 1.12, really.
And I meant to mention this earlier. My wife is a huge Guns N' Roses fan too. It's out of rock bands. She's a huge country fan. She likes all kinds of stuff, but her favorite rock band is Guns N' Roses, and this is her favorite Guns N' Roses album. And she submitted a list in on this. I know that Rick's wife submitted a list, and so so we included them in the panel. But as we go down through, I'm going to tell you what track she picked. When I say what track I picked, I'll tell her what she picked too. And Rick, you can do the same. You talked about how, Matthew, that you saw Guns N' Roses opening for Motley Crue. That made me reach over and pull this. I had pulled this out for us for this in preparation for this. I want you to see if you can see what this is. Do you remember these from the Girls tour?
Yeah.
The balloons they dropped that night?
Yeah, I didn't get one that night, but I sure wanted one.
That's a Girls balloon. And this is what's left of my ticket from there. If you look at that day.
Who opened for you?
Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is the first time I saw Guns N' Roses.
What date was it?
November the 11th, 1987.
I think ours was in October. It was sometime before Halloween. I remember that in Atlanta. One more thing I wanted to mention too, and I forgot to say this, is that I remember that around '88 or so, MTV showed a concert of them at the Ritz. And my brother and sister didn't have MTV at the time, but I recorded it, and I ended up, dubbing, taking my mom's VCR over to their house and hooking them up and dubbing copies for them of them at that Ritz show. And we used to watch it all the time. Axel had the Thin Lizzy shirt on in that concert.
So let's get into the panel. We have me. We have Rick from It's All For You Demon, Matthew Smith. We also have my wife, April, Rick's wife, Tara. Facebook, Matt Ucci, Robin K, Brian Foster, Scotty Sky, Destroyer Dave. Instagram, Trevor Bullock, Tony P, J. Spence Metal, J. Rucker, AJ Zetro, 1975, Bizbag 68, Twitter, Darren Helliwell, R.C. Campbell, Sam Loomis, Tom Dusk, Kimchi Chris, David King, YouTube, Nina K, John B. Good, Two Gay Dads, Scott Epperly, Jeremy Kimona, John O, Luis Maladano, Jay Reed, DJ Rockboy, That Toy Bonnie Guy, Marty Martin, Indie Colt 777, Hard Rock Reverie, Bracher Baseball Academy, Les Wadley, Super Kiss 1200, Greek Freak, Rick R, Joel Peg, and Kiss Carolina Hard Rock Metalhead. Okay, so that's everybody we have on the panel. This is very close voting. Between the number 12 song and the number 1 song, there are only 229 points separating those two songs. So everybody basically voted their favorite number one song and then just listed the rest of their number ones after. At least I know that's how I did. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We got 12 songs. So Rick, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Matthew, then we'll come to me.
All right, number 12, Think About You.
Number 12, I said Anything Goes.
Okay. Number 12, I said Think About You. At number 12, with 112 points, the panel chose Anything Goes. No panelist chose Anything Goes as their number 1. I picked it as my number 9. I love Anything Goes. And I don't, unless there's a particular song that has a moment that I love, I really can't say too much about these songs because I love them all. I just love every one of them, and I don't want to become sounding like a broken record saying I love this song because I love every one of them, front to back pretty much. So, but Anything Goes is just down that kind of low because it's got 8 songs above it that I love more. I like how it kind of breaks down and it's got that kind of swagger to it. Like, I love the opening line. I've been thinking about sex. Always hungry for something that I haven't had yet. I mean, I like how it kind of breaks down for that. And then it kind of kicks in, well, baby, you got something to lose. But I love Anything Goes. The solo's real cool. You need to listen to it in headphones at least once to hear all the different crazy stuff that goes back and forth between your ears. So I picked Anything Goes 9th for me. My wife picked Anything Goes as 8 for her.
I picked Anything Goes as number 12, and so did my wife, number 12. Like you said, there's not a song on here I don't like. I love the contrast of the verses and the opening riff. The opening riff kind of is plain, and then it gets into the verses, and it's kind of sleazy.
Yeah, I picked this number 8 for me. I could be mistaken, but I think this was an old Hollywood Rose song that they brought in and retooled a little and everything. And I got to say, all the songs are great on here, but this is one that when I was listening to this and redoing my list, after I finished my list, this is one of them that the chorus sticks in my head. It's really catchy, mm-hmm. and that's probably one of the catchiest songs as far as chorus goes on this whole album. It just, even, today, this morning, I found myself kind of humming that chorus in my head, even after doing this list almost a week ago or so. But yeah, great track, number 8.
And I love the way that the Guns N' Roses, they didn't fade out very many songs. They would end the song. And I never really liked whenever bands would, Kiss was very guilty of doing this, where they would fade a song out. Where Guns N' Roses, they pretty much finish, I'm not saying they don't fade out any song, but they pretty much finish a song. And they finish a song mm-hmm. the way a band would finish a song live. And it's always, whenever you hear a band finish the song live, I'm like, why didn't you finish that way on the album? You could have finished it that way on the album. Mm-hmm. Why did you have to fade out? Because to me, coming up with an ending is just as much a creative process, right? An ending to your song. So, and I love whenever songs, when they have unique endings, and I like when songs have endings that circle back around to the beginning. I like when they do that too. So that brings us up to number 11. Predictions for number 11.
Out to Get Me.
I said You're Crazy.
All right. And I'm sitting here going, these are such good songs. It's like, I predicted Anything Goes at number 11. At 159 points, at number 11, the panel chose You're Crazy. No panelists picked it as their favorite. I picked it as my number 8, and my wife picked it as her number 2. I love both versions of this song. I know a lot of people, they said that they prefer the GNR Lies version, the acoustic version to it, which is how it was originally written. It was originally written as an acoustic kind of song that the type of song that GNR put on their Lies album. But I love the sped up version of it. Like I said, I love the way it just starts to. I love the way Axl sings in this. Axl is one of those people, he can do so much with his voice. When you think Axl Rose, most people, they hear that same Axl Rose, the kind of whiny a little bit Axl Rose, but he has quite a range. And we'll talk about, I'll bring that out in some of the other songs that we're going to get to. But he uses his voice as an instrument. His voice is an instrument. He overdubbed a lot. And I love the way he sings in You're Crazy. I love how it's fast through the verse. It breaks down into that halftime for the chorus. And, I mean, he drops F-bombs all the way through it. And then they break it down at the end. He literally says, break it down. They break it down at the end, and then they just end it. I
put it at number 10, and so did my wife. I don't know why we're ranking them like this. I love there's a change of vibe in the chorus, and I've always liked that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great song. I mean, I ranked it number 10 as well. And the only reason I ranked it lower is probably because I do like that acoustic one better. I mean, that version on Lies is great. And I guess maybe that was in the back of my head when I'm ranking this. I mean, I don't have any problem with the song. It's really good. And I see exactly what you're saying, Brian, about his vocals. Like he's mixing it up a little on this song. You hear a little bit of that Axl. You don't hear in every other song when he's hitting that. I don't know. It's a little different here. I can't put my finger on it, but it's a little different here. But number 10.
All right, so that brings us to number 10.
Panel prediction, You're Crazy.
I said number 10, Think About You.
Okay. I said number 10, Out to Get Me. At number 10, with 163 points, the panel chose Think About You. So the panels, we're kind of all together right now. But we got two panels. What's that?
I'm 3 for 3 with the panel.
Yeah. We have two panelists who picked this as their number one song, Jay Spence Metal, and a host picked Think About You as their favorite song. I picked this as my 12th song on the album, and it's not because I don't like it. I actually love so many aspects about this song. I love that it's an upbeat love song. If you're going to get a love song other than the one that got grossly overplayed, if you're going to get a love song out of this album, Think About You is one of those out. It showed that Guns N' Roses can do the Sweet Child of Mine, and they can do the Think About You. They're both heartfelt. One of my favorite lyrics in this song is, something changed in this heart of mine, and I'm so glad that you showed me. Honey, now you're my best friend. I want to stay together till the very end. You gotta love it. It chokes you up. You gotta love it. So I love the acoustic guitar, that dun, 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 that comes in. Dun, 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 dun. It's just really good. But yeah, so I pick this as 12. My wife picked Think About You as 11.
I chose it at number 11 myself. My wife chose it at number 1. It is an upbeat song. It's not a go-to on this record. I think that's why it's low for me. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there's not a bad one in this bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I chose it as number 5. Great song. Everything that you said, Brian, I agree with. The acoustic guitar, and I think I could be wrong again, but I think this is one of them that Izzy played lead on though, actually, one of the few or whatever. But and I, a little note that I wrote about this, and I don't know why, but this is the most 80s sounding Guns N' Roses song on this album, and I could see this song being covered by, different genres, different musical artists. Like, not everybody could cover a Guns N' Roses song and do it justice, but this song, the lyrical content, I could see being covered by different types of musical acts, and just a little something else add there. But yeah, great song, number 5 for me. Love it.
Awesome. All right, so that brings us to number 9.
9.
I said Anything Goes.
All right.
9, I set Out to Get Me.
All right. 9, I said You're Crazy was my 9. And at number 9, with 237 points, breaking into the 200s, number 9, the panel chose Out to Get Me. No panelist chose it as their favorite song. I chose Out to Get Me as my 6th favorite song, and my wife chose it as her number 12. 6 is as high as I could go with it, but to me, this is a number 1. I love the energy of this song. I love the attitude of this song. I remember when the first time I heard this song, when he says that line, "'Cause I've got something I've been building up inside for so fucking long." I was just like, yeah, yeah, I feel that way. But Out to Get Me is, and this song just blisters from opening, man. Just that da-na-na at the very beginning of it. And the way they were masters at starting a song, building a song, structuring a song, and ending a song. They still are with masters at it. They just got better, in my opinion, with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. But yeah, so that's where Out to Get Me is to me. It's my number 6.
Out to Get Me is number 3 for me, and number 11 for my wife. To me, the high point smile of this song is, especially with headphones on, that opening riff, and then Izzy comes in, that da-now, da-na, da-now, da-na,
you hear that little you hear that little hit on the strings just before he does it. That yeah, I love it.
Moment.
I love it.
Yep.
This was number 7 for me. I mean, I feel like this song says it all. This is their bad boy song. This is how they felt. This was their underdog song. This is like a teenage angst song. When you're pissed off, this is what you're cranking in your room, kind of thing. Really, everything you mentioned about the guitar work and everything and that intro, that intro gets you every time, because it's just, I don't know. You got to do this face when you hear that intro. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us up to number 8.
I said Rocket Queen.
I said My Michelle for number 8.
Okay. And see, this is where I think it's going to start changing up a little bit, because we start rising to the cream really quick. I said It's So Easy. And what the panel chose at number 8 with 239 points, the panel chose My Michelle.
Ooh.
My Michelle, 2 panelists, 2 gay dads, and Marty Martin picked My Michelle as their favorite song. I picked My Michelle as my 3rd favorite song. What a way to open up the second side. And I love how it just starts. That just all, and this is another one on headphones, because one side the guitar is going, and on the other side you just hear Steven riding on, making one of the cymbals rise a little bit, and then Izzy comes in with that, and then it. I love any time you get a song that counts off on the hi-hat or counts off on the cowbell. And that went from when Steven hits that snare and that riff that starts, that if you turn that up, it will blast the skin off your face. The riff in this song is just so nasty and just so amazing. And then they double time it for the chorus. And then they break back down. This song is one of those. Axl just sounds amazing. And the opening line, your daddy works in porno now that mommy's not around. I mean, it's that LA sleaze at its best. It is just so amazing. And like I said, it comes down to just taking such care to craft these songs. But My Michelle to me is my third favorite song on the album. And my wife picked My Michelle as her sixth favorite song on the album.
It's my number 2. Tied with my number 1, most definitely. I wrestled around not choosing this as number 1. My wife ranked it at number 3. I love Duff's bass at the beginning, that boom boom. Oh, just such a spooky intro. And like you said, the lyrics are mean. I mean, you know, your daddy works in porno now that mommy's not around. She used to love her heroin, but now she's underground. That's cold. I mean, those are harsh lyrics towards someone. I do have a question for you. I've always wondered this. Someday you'll find someone that you can call your own. Until then, you better. And then we just get a snare shot. What was he going to say? Because he says, "Until then, you better."
Right.
And we don't hear anything. Like, what do you think the next lyric was going to be?
Oh, good question.
I don't know.
I've always wondered that.
Keep working it so you get your Coke. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so.
Number 9 for me. That's nothing against the song at all, but I love the opening. Yeah, like you're saying, very, haunting kind of stuff there. This song definitely goes through a lot of changes through it, as far as the sound and the music and everything. It's a great song. Just had to fall somewhere on the list. Number 9 for me.
Yeah. So that brings us up to number 7.
Night Train.
I said Mr. Brownstone.
Okay. I said Night Train. At 297 points for number 7, the panel chose It's So Easy. 4 panelists, Trevor Bullock, DJ Rockboy, That Toy Bonnie Guy, and a host picked It's So Easy as their number 1 song. I picked It's So Easy for me as my 10th favorite song, and my wife picked It's So Easy as her 9th. I remember the very first time I heard this album, and Welcome to the Jungle's first. So you listen to Welcome to the Jungle, and then the very next song was that very simple build up, the which is Izzy, and then Slash comes in and build up, and then it just like I said, they're experts at doing that. And then I remember hearing this voice, "I see your sister rent a Sunday dress," and I was like, "Oh, they got 2 singers in this band?" I didn't realize in the beginning that was Axl Rose. He was just down in his bottom register that he gets down in, the lower part of his middle register. But that's just an amazing thing, and It's So Easy it's a great song, and I love how it changes. That goes into that it's so easy, but nothing seems to please me. I love It's So Easy. It's amazing.
I said number 7 for me. It was number 2 for my wife. I wasn't big into this song back then, but seeing them, I've seen them twice with Slash and Duff being back in the band, and this is the opener, and this is a great opening track to a concert. It's just like the kind of perfect storm building to open up a show, and it really made me like this song more.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this was my number 1. If there was no Welcome to the Jungle on this album, I see why they put this as number 2 track, because it's hard to pick an opening track, between those two, because this has a great beginning. And, having them play it live opening the set, God, that's got to be great. I mean, really, I love. You were talking about Axl's voice. It's you basically have 3 Axls in this song. You've got the low Axl, you've got the it's so easy, then you've got the stereotypical, nasally, whiny Axl, kind of thing. Not saying that in a bad way at all. I love this song. It's always been one of my favorites on this album. Like I said, that's a hard pick for an opener. I mean, you got to go Welcome to the Jungle because, just because. But this is a close second for a perfect opener. So this is my number 1 track.
So that brings us to number 6.
Paradise City.
I said Night Train.
I said Rocket Queen. At number 6, coming in at 304 points, breaking into the 300s, the panel chose Sweet Child of Mine. 7 panelists: David King, Jeremy Kimona, Luis Monadino, Hard Rock Reverie, Super Kiss 1200, and Rick R. picked Sweet Child of Mine as their number 1 song. I picked it 11 for me. I've always been a fan of this song, and I love this song, but I just think it's definitely fatigue with me. And it's just because I think it's because it's long. It goes through a lot of the changes it does. It changes for the solo. It changes for Where Do We Go Now? And in Guns N' Roses, they do that a lot. They do it on Here. They do it on Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. They change a lot with songs like Estranged, Coma. I mean, the long songs, they have a lot of changes in. I don't slight that because I love those songs too. This is a song that if you don't know Welcome to the Jungle, you know Sweet Child of Mine. And unfortunately, this is seems to be the general populace's favorite song off this album. And I guess I hold it a little bit against it for that, because there's so many better songs on this album than Sweet Child of Mine. But my wife picked Sweet Child of Mine as her number 1 song. And she did tell me why. She said the reason why Sweet Child of Mine is her favorite song, she said it is one of those few songs that, not just Guns N' Roses songs, but like entirely for like the world, you hear that fast, everybody knows who it is. It is so iconic. It's legendary. It is legendary iconic. It is some of the most 5 or 6 recognized notes put together that's ever been written. My wife chose it number 1. I chose it for me 11.
Yeah, overplayed, maybe. I agree. But there's 2 songs. There's 2 songs on this record that are Reach for the Volume Knob and Turn It Up songs. Everyone does it. You hear 2 tracks on this record, 3 maybe. Let's say 3. And you immediately just turn it up. And it's because it is so universal. It's for a throwaway song, they wrote this at last minute and very quickly and, threw it on this record. And for it to be as timeless as it is amazing. I ranked it at 6. My wife put it at 8. But yeah, overplayed, yes, but hit a moment in history, yes. So I love it and can do without it, but you have to smile the minute you hear that intro. You just kind of smile.
Yeah, I agree with Rick there. It's a love-hate thing, It's number 11 for me, and it's just because of the fact that I've heard it so much and it's been everywhere. I've heard it, I've heard it used in movies and TV shows and everything. I mean, to give you an example, when I was in 4th grade, 2 of my friends did a lip sync to this song during a school talent show in 4th grade. I mean, that's how you know. I mean, it's but it's not that it's a bad song, because I think one of my problems is, for a long time I had a car that didn't have a working CD player, cassette player, anything, and every, this is one of those songs that every, rock station is going to play way too much. It's like, there's like a good, 3 to 5 songs I'll hear by Guns N' Roses on the stations, and this is probably the most played, and it's just, when you don't have anything to listen to in your car, you're stuck with that, and there's only like 2 rock stations in your area. You hear this song a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm at this point now where it's like, I don't hate it, but I've heard it enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, and case in point to its global effect, the new season of Westworld, the trailer during the Super Bowl played this, only it was on piano. And it was like everyone, you're at a Super Bowl party, everyone like turns to the TV. That's Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think I even read an article one time or an interview with Slash where he said he's sick of this song.
So that brings us up to number 5.
I picked Sweet Child of Mine for 5.
I said It's So Easy.
Okay. I picked My Michelle for 5. At 317 points, the panel chose as number 5, they chose Mr. Brownstone. 3 panelists, Kimchi Chris, John B. Good, and Bracher Baseball Academy, picked this as their favorite song. I picked Mr. Brownstone as my 5th favorite song, and my wife picked it as her 5th favorite song also. I love the way this song starts. Like I said, Guns N' Roses, they have the best intros. And if you look at it, their intros always lead to them breaking down and breaking into that main rhythm. This song's autobiographical. This is a song they wrote all about their addictions to heroin and the other addictions that they had, but just the thing where Axl they made such amazing things. The whole I used to do a little, but a little wouldn't do it, so the little got more and more. Well, I mean, who wrote like that? Who wrote like that? It's. But yeah, I love Mr. Brownstone. Mr. Brownstone's great.
To me, I think I played this too much as a kid, because who didn't love the intro?
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember overplaying that intro all the time in my bedroom. But so it's number 9 for me. It was number 9 for my wife as well. To the point that you just said, they have great intros. It always seemed to me that Guns N' Roses was such a live band. Their songs were even written like they're just playing live. Like they didn't just start a song with a riff. It had like a build up, like you would in a live scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'd kind of do this thing to like build up the crowd. That's what and I think that was the magic of them. They were such energy in a bottle. Like they were like a live bomb just waiting to go off. And I think it came through perfectly on this record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, because I mean, so many of those songs have that iconic intro that, like, if you were hearing it live, you're like, what's coming, you're getting all amped and the crowd's going crazy, and you're hearing that on the album, which is rare. You don't always get that with the band. They don't always do the same intro they would do live to start a song. They don't have on an album. That's a rarity here. Mm-hmm. I've ranked this number 3. Similar to what Rick was saying, this was one of my favorite songs when I was a kid. Of course, I had no idea what Brownstone was, Mr. Brownstone was, but I loved the song. I don't know what it was, but it was just, I just remember, like, as a kid, it's a song that made me want to, I mimic the Axl dance of this song, and everything. Yeah. When they did it live.
Get up, do it.
Nope.
No, I can't do that. Right. Maybe I'll do a out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, but it's like when they did it on that Ritz concert, man, it was just, I think from that moment on, I was like, oh my God, that song is great. And I still love it to this day. I mean, some rank a little higher, but still, that's got to be in my top 5 Guns N' Roses songs, totally.
And once again, just as good as they were at writing intros, they were as good as writing endings. It's this song. You can't have the sound guy fade you out and you continue to play. So and when it gets to stuck it in the needle and I shot it in the middle and it drove me out of my mind, and that guitar work, that and then the bass coming in, behind, yowza, I mean, that is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And the ending only exists. That part of that ending only exists in that part of the song. Just like I said, that extra care, man, is just, it goes so far. So we're up to number 4.
It's so easy.
I said Rocket Queen.
Okay. I said 4 for me, Mr. Brownstone. At number 4, with 322 points, the panel chose Rocket Queen. So we had 9 panelists pick Rocket Queen. We had a host pick Rocket Queen. Brian Foster, Scotty Sky, Tony P, Tom Dust, Nina Kay, Scott Epperly, Les Wadley, and Greek Freak all picked Rocket Queen as their number 1 song. I picked Rocket Queen second, and my wife picked Rocket Queen 4th. Rocket Queen to me is it's number 1. I mean, I can't, but I had to put my number 1 as what it is. But Rocket Queen to me is, I live for this song, and it's perfectly placed at the end of the album. If Welcome to the Jungle starts Appetite for Destruction perfectly, Rocket Queen ends it perfectly. So it's just, this album is just perfection from front to back. But Rocket Queen, just the way it starts, I mean, we get a drum start, you know, and if you turn it up, that snare will crack your skull. Rocket Queen, though, I love the solo. I love the sex that's going on during the solo. But the ending, to me, it's just great, and I love the way it ends.
Number 1 for me, absolute number 1, and my wife chose it at number 4. To me, it's that 221 mark in this song where it just changes, and that riff, oh man, that second riff comes in, and they basically combined 2 songs into one, and it's just it changes, and just the mood it's a perfect ending to this album, and it's all to do with that ending. I remember in college one time we were playing this at a party, and I just remember, like, no one was really into the song, and then when that second part comes in and everyone, you know, just kind of like, you know, gets in a good mood, and like you can just tell, like, when music shifts people, and this song is one of those moments.
Man, that you nailed it right there. I think you guys got a copy of my notes before this, because everything I wrote, you guys have said. It's my number 4. Great song, great ending to the album. It's, you know, this is one of those albums where, like, I mean, even albums you really like, you know, sometimes you're going to have some tracks that are, you know, whatever. This is not an album that you're tired of when it's done, or this ending on a bad note. When that song ends, you're like, start it back over. You know, I mean, that's how powerful that song is, and the way it ends. It's perfect. You know, like I said, it's number 4, but, you know, really my top 4 are all ones easily. You know, great song. Everything you guys said, I agree with.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that brings us to the top 3. What you got picked for? What's your prediction for number 3?
Number 3, I chose My Michelle.
Okay.
Or panel predictions.
Prediction for number 3, Sweet Child of Mine.
Okay. My panel prediction number 3 was Welcome to the Jungle. At number 3, with 336 points, the panel chose Paradise City. 5 panelists: Carolina Hard Rock Metalhead, Joel Pegg, Indie Cult 777, R.C. Campbell, and A.J. Zetro 1975 picked Paradise City as their favorite song. I picked Paradise City for me. My 7th song, and my wife picked Paradise City as her 3rd favorite song. Paradise City, I love it. It's another one of those iconic songs that everybody knows, even if they're not a Guns N' Roses fan. and it's a long song, but it's got that amazing intro again, and then it's got the whistle blow that kicks into the da 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 da. I love the way Axl sings in this one. I love the chorus. This has one of the best chorus ever written, and I love when it breaks into the jam at the end of it. That Guns N' Roses is a jamming band. You go see them live, they jam a lot. They'll take a song and they'll stretch a song out. They will jam a lot. And this is them putting, it's like they put a live show on an album. And Paradise City is their, okay, we're going to jam a little bit song. I love Paradise City. I'm a little fatigued by it, but I still, because it's definitely got its fair share of airplay, it's number 7 for me.
Number 5 for me. Number 5 for my wife as well. Just again, another reach for the volume knob, turn it up song. The minute you hear it, even if you've heard it 1,000,001 times, you're just kind of like, gotta turn it up, gotta roll down the windows.
It'll turn a party up too.
Yep. So it's a summertime anthem, and just being 18, who didn't love this video? This video made you want to be in a band and play outdoor arenas because it just looks so fun. I mean, it's like, oh, they're it's the day in the life of a rock star video, and it just looks so fun and such a great intro, and still such a fun song to see live.
Yeah. Now, I was mentioned before about the radio hits and everything, and there's a handful of songs. If you're listening to your local radio station, your rock or classic rock station, and they're doing a 2 for Tuesday or a double shot weekend or whatever they call it, after they play Sweet Child of Mine, they're playing Paradise City, So this is my number 12, and not because I dislike it, but because kind of what Brant was saying, it's a little fatigued at this point. It's, Welcome to the Jungle was a song that had, the metalhead kids take notice. Sweet Child of Mine and Paradise City had everybody else take notice. So those two songs became like the well-known hits that are going to be played a lot. And that's really my only problem with it. It's just I hear it so much. I've heard it so much. Mm-hmm. That it's kind of like I want to give due to the other tracks kind of thing, So number 12, but only because I hear it a ton.
All right, so that brings us up to our top 2. If you've been playing along, you know the 2 that's left. So, and I hope I didn't give too much away earlier saying that we're going to have a dark horse win this one. So, what's your prediction for number 2, Rick?
I'm just scratching my head that Night Train's going to win this thing. I'm like, what? Okay, I just wanted to say that because I'm sitting here looking at my list and I'm like, really? Okay, my prediction was Mr. Brownstone for number 2.
Prediction for number 2 was Paradise City.
Okay, my prediction was Paradise City. 360 points. The panel chose at number 2, Welcome to the Jungle.
What? This is bizarre.
5 panelists, Matt Ucci, Bizbag68, Darren Helliwell, and John O, picked Welcome to the Jungle as their favorite song on the album. I picked Welcome to the Jungle as my favorite song on the album. If Guns N' Roses is my Kiss 2.0, then Welcome to the Jungle is my Detroit Rock City 2.0. Detroit Rock City is my favorite Kiss song. Welcome to the Jungle is my favorite Guns N' Roses song. It's where it all started for me, from seeing the video for the very first time and hearing it in my car stereo for the very first time. It's my first, and my wife picked it. I don't know if I said, but my wife picked it 10 for her.
I picked it number 4. My wife picked it number 7. Everything you said, I agree with. It's just such a dangerous opening track. If Guns N' Roses is a book, This is the first line of Moby Dick that tells you basically everything you need to know about this band. I always loved the story that this is when Axl got off the bus.
Yeah.
When he from Indiana, somebody said this to him when he got off the bus. Somebody said, "You know where you are? You're in the jungle." I always loved that. I don't know if it's true. If it wasn't true, never say it's not, because that's a great.
It's what I've always heard.
Yeah. Sometimes the
he even said that during the Ritz concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a cool thing such a cool tie into the song. How can you not like this song? It's definitely, even though I ranked it at number 4, it's definitely a 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it was number 6 on my list, but that doesn't mean anything as far as against it. I mean, I could listen to this tomorrow and it could easily be up there in the top, 3, or whatever. But great opening track. Everything you guys said, I totally agree with. I mean, in fact, I bet if you did the top 50, opening tracks on not just on rock albums, but probably albums in general, I mean, this would definitely have to land in the top 5. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is iconic, and it summed up the band. I mean, you got an idea of what you were getting, with this album, with that opening, and the first tracks. I mean, when you hear that, it's just like we were saying on the other song. When that starts up, you're like, everybody's gonna go crazy. Everybody knows what's they're just about to unload on you, just blast it out, So it's a great track, yeah.
Okay, so if you've been playing along, you know what's number 1. So, but is it even worth? We'll do predictions anyway. What did you predict as number 1?
Well, I didn't predict that I would be flabbergasted at what won number 1. My prediction was "Welcome to the Jungle."
Welcome to the Jungle. Yep.
My prediction was actually "Sweet Child of Mine," but at 363 points, only beating "Welcome to the Jungle" out by 3 points. If we would have had one more person that would have picked "Welcome to the Jungle" a little higher by 3 points, we'd at least had a tie. So, wow. But it is what it is. That's the cool thing about the panels. Every vote counts. Panelists chose Night Train. And here's the funny thing. Only 4 panelists chose it as their favorite. So it just had a bunch of support from everybody else. Robin Kay, Jay Rucker, Sam Loomis, and Jay Reed picked Night Train as their favorite song. I picked Night Train as my fourth favorite song. And my wife picked Night Train as her 7th favorite song. The thing about this song is this song kind of breaks the mold of all the songs we've been talking about. This song don't have much of an intro. It just has that count off with the cowbell and the hi-hat, and then the one note, and then the riff, the which is basically what Axl sings over in the first verse. Rolling like a freight train, flying like an airplane. But then they settle. But it's almost like Axl's vocal is part of the intro, because I feel like they really kick in on the song. Feeling like a space brain one more time tonight. Ew, well, I'm a West Coast strutting. That's whenever they kind of break into the verse to me. It's almost kind of the intro. Hey, let's just write words for the intro, which is genius. But this one fades out. There's not an end. There's not an end to it. And they could have wrote one. They probably had one. I don't know why they didn't include it. So I would have loved if they would have circled back to that very beginning. They do it live. There's live recordings out there of them doing it, but they don't do it on the album. They just fade out. So what about you guys?
I ranked it at number 8. My wife ranked it at number 6. To me, if Poison made the Sunset Strip look glamorous, this song is a representation of how Guns N' Roses made it look dangerous and sleazy. And it's just, I mean, it's a perfect, who hasn't sang this on a Friday night when you've had a shit week and you want to, tie one on? Who doesn't relish in the lyrics from Night Train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number 2 for me. I love this song. You know, I mean, this is their drinking song. Obviously, I mean, that's totally what it is, and it's powerful. I like the fact, like Brant was saying about, I like Axl singing with the music like that, or the guitar. You know, it's kind of, I don't know. That always appealed to me as a kid. You know, so this is number 2, and this has consistently been one of my top 2 songs on this album. You know, ever since I was younger. The whole opening first side of this album is really powerful. I feel like, and you got your first 3 tracks. You know, you got Welcome to the Jungle, It's So Easy, and Night Train. I mean, man, that they're really slamming, hitting you hard with it, and so definitely a great track. Number 2 all the way.
Awesome. All right. Well, so to recap really quick, number 12, Anything Goes. Number 11, You're Crazy. Number 10, Think About You. Number 9, Out to Get Me. Number 8, My Michelle. Number 7, It's So Easy. Number 6, Sweet Child of Mine. Number 5, Mr. Brownstone. Number 4, Rocket Queen. Number 3, Paradise City. Number 2, Welcome to the Jungle. And number 1, the dark horse, Night Train. So that's it for this video, guys. Be sure to click the subscribe button, click the notification button, and click the like button. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button so YouTube knows you like this video as well. And so they'll maybe show it out to fellow Guns N' Roses fans out there who would like to see this video, see us count it down as well. The next 80s panel video that we're going to be doing is going to be, it was fan voted to be Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil. And we're really looking forward to that. But that's all I've got for this one. So, Rick, you got any closing thoughts?
It's a damn good record. I mean, from beginning to end, there's really no fault to it.
Mm-hmm. Be sure to check out Rick from It's All For You Demon. You can find him on social media as well, just searching It's All For You Demon. Check out his channel, give him a subscribe, and click like on his videos too. He's got really fun, amazing videos, and I love looking forward for his stuff to come out. So, Matthew, what about you? Closing thoughts?
You said it all. It's a great album. I mean, it takes me back to my childhood. I know that sounds weird considering the lyrical content on most of the album, but it's always had a near and dear spot in my heart. It's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys having me on here to share my thoughts with you guys.
All right, guys, that's all we've got for today. Be sure to check these guys out. Matthew's on social media, MD Smith Comics. He's on Twitter, on Instagram. Be sure to check him out. Anyway, that's all we got for this video today. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.